The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acomb. We're broadcasting from the Hesselson studio, and in that studio via Zoom is Nancy Jones. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Oh my goodness, thank you for having me.
Before we start talking about the very special album that's out today, I want to congratulate you on your Emmy for still playing possum music in memory of George Jones. How amazing was that experience to win an Emmy, but also to see that performance?
I tell you what, I was shocked. I never thought that we would win an Emmy on that, but That was such a wonderful show. We had like 35 artists on there.
Yeah.
It was in Huntsville, Alabama, and everyone I called, no one said, nope, I don't want to do it. Everybody agreed to do it. They did it was an honor just to watch them.
And it's amazing when you look at the talent that you put together, but also how long did the actual performance last? Because it just seems like there's so many performers. It must have been a long concert.
Well, no, you know what? It started at 7, it was over at 10,
Wow.
And they were just like, wow, just right on it. We had a good producer.
Wow, that's amazing. So out today is George Jones, the Lost Nashville Session, and it's on vinyl today. You can get it. How does something like this come about, that you find this music that no one watching this program right now has heard before?
Well, what this is that it's the George Jones Lost Session, Nashville Session, is that it was a pitch session. Oh, okay. And what a pitch session is, which you would know, is that people come to your radio stations and they pick a song. Say the Love Bug was out. Okay, well then George goes to that station and he sings it in person, Love Bug. And then sings his heart out because he's really wanting to get that airplay.
Right.
So what happened is that Paul Martin and Rex Allen Jr. came to me and said, hey, we've got these things that radio stations have had, and what they do is once they play them, they throw them in the dumpster.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay. He said, but we've got them, and it's 16 of them, and we want to bring them out, but we don't want to change voice, nothing on George's voice.
Right.
Just bring the music and things up to par way it is today. And that's what they did. I mean, it was just, it's amazing. If you close your eyes and listen to this album, you're going to say, my gosh, he's right here beside me. You can feel it because he's singing his little heart out, and it's absolutely wonderful. And someone will say, well, I've heard those songs before. You have heard those songs before, but not the way George is singing them.
No, it's almost, in a kind of a weird way, it's almost like a live album, because they were doing it on one take, right, at these radio stations. Right. So it's almost like...
You couldn't stop it because he was trying to get airplay. If he had stopped it, then it'd look like a studio album, you know, where they stop to start, you stop it. But no, he sung straight out. I mean, poured his heart out on these songs.
How long was this process? Because as you said, they've been singing around for a while. They needed to be cleaned up a little bit. Not George's part of it, but everybody else. How long from beginning to end was the process?
Well, those were back in the 70s when he did these.
Yeah. So really, since 1970s, right?
Yeah. So when they called me, Paul Martin and them, it was in 2013. I'm like, I'll never hear from them again. And then, oh my gosh. They called me back and said, it's ready. I'm like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
You really did it? They like, we did.
Wow.
And so that's how it came about.
And I think it's also unique because you've got fan favorites that we all know, but there's kind of what they call future fan favorites that people may not be as familiar with as some of the bigger hits. And I think that's also kind of a unique opportunity for people.
Yeah, just like Luke Combs on the 100th anniversary at the Grand Ole Opry. Yeah. He sings the Grand Tour.
Right.
Well, I was just thrilled to death to hear him sing that song. And it is one of the ones that's on this album.
Right.
And then Garth Brooks sitting up there talking about how the greatest country singer ever.
Yeah.
And then he sings He Stopped Loving Her Today.
Yeah.
I mean, it just made my heart so happy.
Yeah. And when you mentioned the Grand Tour, I don't think there could be a better song for the Grand Ole Opry, could there? When you really think about the lyrics.
Yep, step right up and come on in.
Exactly. So this is such a unique opportunity and an exciting opportunity for people. You can order it today on vinyl. How does it sound on vinyl?
I'm sorry?
How does it sound on vinyl? It must be really nice to hear it on vinyl.
Oh my gosh, it is just, like I said, it's like you can just close your eyes and reach over there and touch George while he's singing.
That's amazing. Technology is amazing, isn't it? I also wanted to mention, while I have you, your book, Playing Possum, which came out not that long ago, Your Memories of George Jones. How important was it for you to write that book, and did you find it difficult or cathartic in a way?
Well, that book, I died of COVID. I mean, I really died.
Yeah. Oh.
And God brought me back. I mean, you know, and you'll read this in the book, is all the things that I went through, how sick I was. I mean, I lost 70% of my lung, all my hair, couldn't walk anymore. Just all my muscles was being eat up by COVID. And it's, so whenever God brought me back, I think he wanted me to do this book. Yeah. And because I tell the truth, I don't sugarcoat anything.
Right.
And I try to do this in order to get people that's lost and needing the good Lord and Jesus. You're gonna read about this in this book. You'll know why I stayed with George and fought the demons that he had.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and he had a lot of demons.
Yeah.
And you'll see how I fought them and how I really wanted to get this man to heaven. And in my heart, I know he's there.
Oh, that's so touching. And I know if you read George's autobiography that you should read them back to back, perhaps, because he doesn't seem to sugarcoat anything in that book either.
No, he didn't. No, he did not. Some things I'm like, what'd you say that for?
Yeah. Did it really need to?
It's the truth.
Did it really need to be that long of a book? You could have cut a couple chapters out, right?
Right.
But you've been so busy. How does this all feel to experience George getting the due that he deserves?
Well, you know, George deserved a lot of dues because he was country music.
Yes.
And he lived, eat, and breathed country music, and you couldn't change him.
No.
I mean, if somebody brought him a song and said, you could do this, just do one rock and roll song. Look what it did to Johnny Cash and whatever.
Sure.
He's like, nope, I'm not going to sing anything but country music. And that's what he did.
Do you think it's because he was pure country that he has such a legacy that people can still tune him in today and know that what they're listening to is pure country?
I think so. I think that if you tune in today and listen to George Jones, even some of these new artists, and they love him. They talk about him all the time. But the fans, if you would just take a listen to some of George's songs, and how true and country he was, right. It hits a lot of homes. I mean, it hits you right where every day that's going on.
That's why I can't wait to hear this on vinyl, because it'll be an emotional experience, like you said, because if you do listen to current country music, it's not to knock them at all. It's just kind of a different thing. To listen to an album like this of songs that you know, but you've never heard this version before, is going to take you to, I think, a very special place.
I agree.
Now, do you think, and about the legacy of George, that's why when we were talking about Still Playing Possum, why so many younger artists said, I want to be a part of this?
I think a lot of the young artists, when they start listening, they love George, the younger artists do. And when they sing a George Jones song, you can feel them really trying to sing it the way George was singing it. And then they'll say, I can't sing like George. You don't have to, just sing it, because you'll feel it. And just like Luke Combs last night, he did on that Opry, he did such a great job.
No, he really did. So with the new album, which is out on vinyl today, George Jones, The Lost Nashville Sessions, do you see more opportunities like this to come? Is there more songs in a vault, or is this kind of you better buy it today and this is it?
I would say buy it today, because I don't know of anything in the vault. I think we've emptied it, but if something does come up, I'll be right in the middle of it, putting it out.
Well, that's why I think this is such an interesting story, because these were destroyed. I mean, technically, when these were done, most radio stations, like any radio station, has more records and CDs. So the fact that they were even found goes to show you probably the power of the performances.
True. Yeah. That everything you said is true.
Now, is there a best place to purchase any of these that we've been talking about? The George Jones Lost Nashville Sessions out today, or your book, Playing Possum?
Oh, you can get it on Amazon.
Okay. Great.
And you can get the vinyl and the CD also there, but you can also get it at Walmart.
Oh, wow. That's great. Well, thank you for giving us so much time today. I know you're promoting this, and I can't wait to hear it on vinyl. I heard a little bit of it digitally and on CD, but there's something that will take us away in that vinyl.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. And y'all go out and get this album, get this CD, and you will be so amazed to see the vinyl. I just love vinyl.
I know, me too. I can't wait. Well, thanks for giving us this time. We'll talk to you soon. How's that?
Okay, thank you.
All right. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking. Stay with us.